Hi, all my crafty friends. This is Cindy B with mrsbscraftroom.blogspot.com. Today we're working on page, let's see, 4 and 5 of the Holiday Planner. So for me, page 4 and 5 end up being the pages that I use for my annual cookie exchange. So each year in my subdivision, I host a cookie exchange, and I like to include that in my planner so that I can keep track of all the things that need to get done before the cookie exchange. So what we're going to be doing, I went ahead and printed out my calendar, and I make a guest list for my cookie exchange, and that way I can keep track of who's RSVP'd and who hasn't, and those will be the 2 pages that we're working on today. All right, so first, I went ahead and I cut some Christmassy paper, and honestly, I don't remember where this came from. It was from a paper stack last year. So this page is going to go on the back. If you remember, we did the menu planner for Thanksgiving, and so this is going to go on the back of that menu planner page. And then I've gone ahead and cut another piece of, and again, I'm just to remind you, I'm using black chipboard because I bought a pack of chipboard at Joann's, and I have, all I have left is black, so I want to use it up. But I'm going to go ahead and apply the Christmas paper to that black chipboard. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, I'm using a wet glue because I want this to really stick. So let's go ahead and apply the glue. It looks like I'm going to need some more glue. Alright, so we'll go ahead and apply the glue. Alright. I'm going to start at the bottom. Now this is the quick dry glue, so it does dry pretty quick. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and take a ruler, and I like to start from the center and work my way up, pushing, and work my way down, pushing, and over to the side. This basically just gets the air bubbles out and also moves the glue to the edge of the paper. Now remember, we put some ribbon around the side here, so I want to make sure I really get that adhered so it doesn't come out there when we're flipping the pages. So we'll just add a little bit of extra glue there. And looks like I didn't get that corner very well. So after you've got this glue down, you might want to just go around the edges and make sure you've got, you know, all of your edges securely glued down so they don't lift up when you're looking through your planner. Or for me, I pop it in my purse or my laptop bag and take it when I'm on the go. Alright, so there's that page. And we'll go ahead and do the second page the same way. Alrighty. And again, we'll just take the ruler. And this also gives you a smooth surface. Sometimes I've made projects where they, the glue kind of globs up in the center and leaves a bump. So this kind of helps that not to happen also. Alright, let me wipe up some of that glue that came out. Okay, so now we're ready to decorate. So what I did, so I am using my Gypsy for the files. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and show you on the Gypsy screen. For this particular one, we're going to use I'm using From My Kitchen, which is where I've gotten the apron and all of the layers. And the apron is at, let's see, cut at 3.5. And then I'm using the cookies. Let's go ahead and zoom in. These cute little cookies are from Sesame Street cartridge for the Cookie Monster. I thought they were a lot cuter than the cookies that were on the From My Kitchen cartridge. And then instead of doing the apple on, so if we zoom in, you'll see there's actually an apple there on that apron. And so instead of doing the apple for the apron, we're going to go ahead and I took, where is he? Aha, there he is. You see him there? I took the gingerbread man from my kitchen cartridge and I made him 0.75. And I went ahead and I didn't need the extra cookie, so on the advanced tab I did the contour and I blacked out that cookie so it's not going to print or it's not going to cut. So that little cookie is what we're going to put on the front of the apron instead of the apple. Alright, so this is what it ends up looking like, what it looks like. Isn't that cute? And then the cookies from the Sesame Street cartridge, I think they were a lot cuter than the other cookies from my kitchen cartridge. So those are what we'll be working with. So first, let's see, let's go ahead and we'll take the 2 sheets. We're going to put the calendar on this side for the planner. And I want to go ahead and round off my corners. Let's see, we're going to use the corner chopper, so I'm going to zoom this out a little bit so you guys can see better. I'm going to use the corner chopper, and I'm using the 1/2 inch size. I'm just going to chop off corners and round those out. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and mat my calendar. And the way that I do that, if you've watched any of my other videos, I have this wonderful tool that I use. It's called Perfect Layers. And it is basically a ruler that has, I don't know if you can see on the end here, it's a ruler that has little grooves. And when you lay that up against your item that you're trying to do the mat around, it gives you a perfect size. So let me show you how that works. So we'll go ahead and put the calendar down with our adhesive. And we can just basically put that anywhere on the paper that we want. Now I'm going to do the 1/16. You can see that each side is marked. So this is 1/16. This side is a 1/2. And if I flip it over, we've got 3/16 and 5/16. So my favorite cut is the 1/16. So you can just see that little bitty lip. I don't know if you can see it very well right there. So I'm going to lay that lip up. Let's zoom in here so you can see. I don't think, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to lay that little lip on the 1/16 right up against the edge of my cardstock, and then I can just basically use my knife and see how that gives me the perfect mat. That might be too close for you guys to see. There we go. So I'm basically going to do that around all 4 sides of my calendar. You know, a couple folks have asked me where I got these. I bought these years ago on QVC on one of their scrapbooking days. I don't even know if they exist anymore, but you could probably Google it. They're called Perfect Layers. See that? Perfect Layers, if you're interested. Okay, so now we've got that cut. Let's go ahead and round the corners off using the 1/2 inch again. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing for the guest list. I'm going to zoom this out because I think I'm too far in. And again, I'm just going to put adhesive on the back of my guest list. Oops. Put this right there. And cut my mat. Now you have to be careful that you don't move the ruler, but for the most part, I get a perfect cut every single time. I love it. And it really saves, it keeps me from having to figure out dimensions, which I don't like to do. I don't want to include math in my crafting. There we go. Okay, so let's just go ahead and round off the corners. All right, clean up my mess here real quick. And go back to our pages. I want to make sure I've got my page going the right way. So it's going to be this way. We're going to turn it. Okay, so now we've got it going the right way. So I'm going to put my calendar. I need to make sure I have room for the binder over here. So I'm going to put the calendar as far to the left as I can. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and put the cookies. And then the guest list is going to go to the far right. And then this is where I'm going to put my apron. I might have a little trouble with the binding on that. That little apron thing might stick out. But if I have to cut through it, I'll just cut through it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply these down. I think what I'm going to do is bind this one before I put that apron down. Maybe I'll do the same on the cookies. We'll go ahead and run it through the binder. I think I said previously in one of my videos that I was going to bind these at the end, but I've changed my mind about that because I need to be able to bind them so if I don't do it as I go, I'll lose track of how I'm doing this. So let me go grab my binder and we'll put these together. Okay, so here I use the Zetter binder. It's what I bought years ago. Actually, that little button's probably not even going to go down. We have to take that little button off. Let's see. So there's really no rhyme or reason how I'm doing this because I didn't really line it up in the beginning. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I wouldn't recommend that if that's what you were planning to do. Let me take that button off because it doesn't really work out the best. So the next time I make a binder, I don't think I'm going to, a holiday planner, I'm not going to do it that way. There we go. And that actually turned out pretty good. All right, so I just need to put my button back on for that one. So let's do the second page. And I need to make sure that these are going to line up. So let's see, how do I want to do that? So if I put that in that way, okay, so I think what I decided to do is wait on the binding of the second page until I cover it with my next part of the planner. That way I'm only going to have to cut through here twice. So with that said, I'm going to wait to apply the embellishment on this page also. But I have decided that I'm going to move the apron embellishment over to this page. I think it's going to fit better, and then I'll move the cookies over to this page once I get the other side on there. So let's go ahead and put the apron on. I'm going to use, gosh, I guess I better not pop dot that up because it's going to make it too bulky. So let's just go ahead and use my tape runner and glue gun. Let's see, I'm using the Martha Stewart glue pen today. And I'll just go ahead and add some glue around the ties. So I'm going to angle that on my page a bit like that. So, wait a minute, if I do it that way, let's do it that way. Okay, so you guys get to see the creative process in the works. I'm sorry for all the confusion on this, but you know what? That's how it's done. You know, we just kind of make mistakes and change things along the way. So that's the complete pages here. We'll go ahead and put the cookies on when we do the next page, when we do the back side of this page. So far we have, and I went ahead and, this is the little binder thing that comes with the Zetter machine. So we'll go ahead and put that in so you guys can at least get some kind of an idea of what this is going to look like. Okay. Whoops, not going to work. Okay, so there we have our cover. Then we have our Thanksgiving page, and then we turn over and we've got the beginning of the cookie exchange pages. Okay, so I will be back with the next 2 pages in the planner. I hope you guys are having fun. Sorry for all the confusion. I did have a couple of people ask me for the download for the calendars and the planning, menu planning pieces. So I'll go ahead and put that on my blog for you guys to download if any of you are interested. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.